What's up, guys? Vape Culture back. I have another review today. This one is the Panzer clone from Fasttech. I finally got it. It took almost a fucking month to get to my house, but it's finally here. And there's still people that are waiting on theirs that, you know, they ordered them the day they arrived and they're still waiting on them. That's one thing I can't stand about Fasttech. If you pay for something, okay, everybody understands it's going to take a little time to ship, especially from China. But why the fuck do you have to have people wait almost a month to receive their item? You have our money and you're making us wait a month to receive something. I have friends that have ordered something back in November and they still don't have their stuff. I don't know. But anyways, the Panzer clone from Fasttech. My personal opinion, this is the best mod they have sold yet. It's weighty, just like the authentic. I mean, it has heft to it, like the real one. I mean, honestly, this feels like it's worth more than $31. That's my opinion. I'm not bitching about the price. The price is awesome. But I know if a shop was to sell this, they could probably get 80 to 100 bucks for this, for a clone. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with the switch. One thing about it that doesn't quite make it a one-to-one clone is the fact that the battery rests on a ring of Delrin rather than an O-ring. Not that big of a deal. I really don't care. The other thing is the contacts are brass rather than copper, which also isn't that big of a deal. Brass is still a really great conductor, and in my opinion, it's a little easier to maintain than copper, depending on how good the copper is. The firing button, you still got the gas mask on there. I got number 13. One thing I was concerned about, you know, when, you know, like everyone, when ordering something from Fasttech, you're a little hesitant because you are taking a gamble, you know what I mean? All you can really go off of is people's reviews. So anyone that does a review on Fasttech, keep doing it because it does help everyone, especially from Fasttech. So I was concerned because in the pictures the button kind of protrudes from the switch housing a little bit, but you can make it sit flush in the switch housing like the authentic. So I'm really happy about that. The throw is really nice. The button action's smooth. Some people have complained that the button has come loose on them just from using it. Kind of like the Sentinel clone, or, you know, any Sentinel type mod for that matter. I personally haven't had that issue yet. That has an easy remedy though. I mean, you can just use a tiny bit of Teflon tape, wrap it around the button, and it'll kind of keep it from spinning, or there's a few different ways to fix that. But there's the switch. The engraving, it's really deep on there. It's nice. Oh yeah, and the lock ring, really nice too. I mean, it spins. It's nice. Okay, so We'll go to the tubes. The tubes are nice and thick. You got that tube right there. The inside's nice. It does thicken up on the inside walls there a little bit. If you can see that there. The threading on this mod is awesome too. It does have thick threads, so that's, you know, that does help a little bit, but the threading is nice and smooth. I've been keeping this ring down by the switch because I think it looks better right there. And then the center tube. Now, one thing also about the center tube, my buddy Damien ordered one of these as well. We ordered ours the same day, and we received ours the same day. Mine on the center tube, right here on the flat portions, if you can see right here, this flat portion kind of goes up onto the radius right here, if you can see that there. And it does it on all four sides. Two sides are higher than the other two. Which doesn't really bother me. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I know it would bother other people, but what I was getting at is, now my friend Damien's doesn't have that whatsoever. So when ordering one of these, just, you know, if that sort of thing bothers you, just keep in mind you're taking kind of a gamble. You may get a tube that has that, you may not. Not all of them have it. I got one. My friend Damien, his didn't have that. There's the tube section, and again the threads, nice and smooth. I mean, for $31, awesome. The vent holes were actually pretty even on this one. I was happy about that. Sometimes it seems like the dude running the drill press is like, either came to work high that day or he's got a hangover or something. But the vent holes on this one, pretty even in the center, and they were nicely done. So there's the tubes. Now, on to something that a lot of people have had a question about. The top cap. First, I wanted to start with the engraving on here. The Panzer logo is on there. Nice and clean. It's deep. The top cap's super thick. Let me go ahead and take my Helios off of here. Threads on the connection are awesome. Here's the top. Really, really nice. Really nicely done. It does have that little rough edge there. What is that gross shit in my fingernail? That's disgusting. You know, kind of looks, it has like that sandpaper effect down in there. Looks super cool. Okay. The contact. This, all they state in the description is that it has an adjustable center pin. With the Panzer, a portion of it telescopes out and a portion of it's floating. They don't really clarify if it does that, but I can tell you it does. There has been some reviews on Fasttech stating that their pin doesn't float and that they're having a hard time getting their atomizers to sit flush. The reason is that contact is in there kind of tight. So in order to have it, mine floats no problem. So I just pushed it back up in there, And then what we'll do is I'll screw this pin in here to kind of show some movement. Okay, so there's the pin. This is going to be hard to do. Okay. Okay, now we're getting some feedback right there. Alright, here we go. Okay, now I don't know if you were able to see that move. I did the best I could. But if you can see this pin, the inner portion of it is now sticking out a little bit. It does float. I personally didn't have any problems with mine floating. My friend Damien, his was a little snug. What he did was he took something that is like a 1/4 inch bit from like a bit driver. You take something like that. That's what I recommend. A 1/4 inch bit. Take like a metric, like an Allen style 1/4 inch bit, and you take one small enough that could fit down into the connection and apply pressure either by pushing it or taking a hammer and slightly tapping it. Be careful, you know, not to hit your top cap. You know, don't freak out using like a tack hammer. You're just going to stick something down into that connection, something that won't scratch your contact, something blunt, and give it a slight tap to knock that contact loose out of there. And then what he did was he shaved the inner side of this Delrin insulator in here, in there. He shaved it down just a tiny bit, which allowed that pin to float in there a lot easier. So if yours doesn't float, it'll take a little modification, not much, but it can float. So, you know, everybody out there that's saying, you know, it doesn't float, it does. It needs to be broken in a little bit. Which was something else I was concerned about. I was worried that it wasn't gonna float, but it does. I'm super happy with that. So, see if I could. Okay, if you can see where that contact is right there, somewhat protruding out of the Delrin insulator a little bit. I'm just gonna take my finger, push it down in. Now it's back in. So when I screw my atomizer back on, as soon as you feel resistance, you're there, and just snug it down just a little bit. And boom, there you go. So guys, this thing for $31 worth every penny. If you're thinking about getting it, buy with confidence. It's awesome. I will say this though, if you're gonna get one, kind of jump on it soon, because I have noticed that Fasttech, they'll sell, same thing with the Nemesis clone. I did a video on the Nemesis clone, and the Nemesis that I got was awesome, but now they're selling cheaper variations of it, and there's really no telling whether or not you'll get a good one or a shitty one. So if you're gonna get one, jump on it now so you know you get a good quality one, you know, because who knows, a month or two from now they could be making shitty ones made out of chrome plated brass, and you know, they're just not that good. So if you've been thinking about getting one, jump on it. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. This thing's awesome. I'll go ahead and I'll take a few vapes from it really quick. God, the threads are awesome on this thing, man. The locking ring does work so smooth that sometimes when you're hitting it, the locking ring will kind of move on you and start to engage. If you put just a tiny dab of Noalox on there, that'll help that. I haven't. It doesn't really bother me. But, anyways. So, Panzer, Sony 30 amp. This is the VTC 3. I haven't had a chance to get the 4s yet, and I also heard that the 5s are coming out, so I don't even know if it's really worth time and effort to get the 4s right now. We'll do the Sony 30 amp with the Helios clone. This contact has to be out quite a ways to stop battery rattle, but honestly, that's how the Authentic is too. The only thing I don't like about this mod is having to adjust that pin, but pretty much every mod is like that, unless it's like telescopic or something, or it's a Nemesis. Fuck it, we'll just leave it like that. It's not exactly on there, but anyways. So, the build I have right there, those are dual microcoils. Those are built at 0.25. I'm going to put some goose juice on there. My all-time favorite juice right now. The best. Sorry this video is taking a while, guys. I was really looking forward to this mod, so I kind of rambled, but here we go. I believe it's already getting dry, and this top cap is already fucking hot. Do one more and we'll call it a video. I'm vaping my K-Fun, so the fucking drippers kind of get me lightheaded.